Hello, and welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. Woo! Yes, I'm back. Well, I've been back for a while actually, ever since the Mercedes DLC came out. Whoop, there's one. And having bought the Mercedes cars, I've been reignited with some fun. Reignited with fun? Oh, that sounds great, but it's not what I meant. Reignited to play the game. Reignited with fun, whatever. But buying the second Mercedes cost me a lot of money, and I did it before I had enough, and so I had to sell my Maluch, which is now being replaced by a Mercedes-Benz, which most people say is a good upgrade. But I want to earn some money and keep on filling up the garage. The best way to do that is to fix up cars and sell them, which I've possibly got enough money to do for a really, really cheap car like a Maluch. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to go to the auction. If that doesn't work out, then we'll have to do some more gerbs. Alright, so here we are at the auction. The first auction. There's no Maluch on here. Something like the Salem Flamo might be cheap enough, or the Spectre. This thing certainly isn't. I've only barely got enough money to buy it, let alone however much it will end up being. Okay, Delray Custom. That's two. Oh, it's a one-star car. Now these are definitely worth bidding on. Look at the state of that. So let's bid on this. See how much this goes for. Obviously, we don't spend too much money, otherwise I'll end up being in the same boat. Although, you know, I could always sell the car half finished. I don't have to complete it. Although you do get a bonus for doing that, I believe. Oh, there we go, 10 grand. That was pretty quick. In and out, as the actress said to the bishop. Right, let's quit. Alright, so here we go with our tasty looking Delray. Now I've already got one of these. This is a Delray Custom, isn't it? Yeah, so let's go and make double sure of that. And also, there's no reason to keep this in the garage. It's just increasing my load time, so... Delray Custom, yeah, nice pinky looking one. So let's pop this in the parking. That should be the first. Oh no, that should go into, yeah, the first one in D. I'd like to get the other Mercedes in there as well, but I'll need something else to bring this out, put something else in here, and then the Mercedes can go in there, I guess. Right, so, oh look, didn't sell us with a boot. It's not all there. Let's get it on a lifter. Now, okay, now jobs I do up from the auction, I do tend to put on the other lifter, so I'm going to be slightly anal about it. There we go. Right, now first things first, I like to take off all this bodywork and give that a polish on the old bench. Let me just check what I've got in here though. I can't sell all now, can I? Because I've just picked some stuff up. So just sell all that other stuff that we don't need. Right, and then, oh, can I not? Is that bumper don't come off, or has the bumper already come off? It looks like a bumper. Okay, whatevs. Look at that nice clean bodywork underneath, like no rust on there at all. I think that should be rusty as well. If they're going to make rusty, if they're going to make the chassis rusty, I think the underneath bits there should be rusty too. Anyway, it's a small point. There's a tail light in that rust somewhere. There we go. Alright, so let's see what we can do with those bits. Okay, one of them broke, but still, that's not too bad. So now we can... Oh, no, that didn't work very well. So what I forgot to do, assuming we press all the buttons, is now it's worth selling junk. And then we're just left with the bits that are useful. Wow, there's not many of them, is there? So there's that. What else? Tail lights and whatever that is. Front bumper. Why doesn't it say what it is? I've not really noticed that before. But, alrighty. And a couple of tail lights. So we'll find out where they go. There we go. Some nice shiny bits now. So that's all we've got. That's all that got fixed. Or didn't get broken in the fixing procedure. Do apologise. I press all the buttons. And one of those days again, like all the other days. Right, so now we're doing a proper strip down. So we're going to take all this stuff out, fix up as much of it as we can, and then see if we've actually got enough money to replace the rest. And one of the issues you get when everything's rusty is, as you can possibly tell, because look, if I just stop taking that carburettor off, it's really, without the outline, which I think is part of, I was mentioning recently, there's going to be a hard mode installed. I don't think they're actually going to do any of this outlining. You're going to have to know where the bolts are. But I mean, because without it, you could lose the carburettor, especially if they start making the nuts rusty as well. Nobody likes nasty ruts. Nasty ruts? No, nobody likes those. Nobody knows what they are. Nobody likes rusty nuts, you know, along with the rusty bushes. It's not a pleasant experience. So, let's get all this off. Take off my little clips. There we go. Take all this distributor stuff off. Get the top of the engine out as well. Ah, yeah. So yeah, this hard mode, it's an interesting idea. I'm torn as to whether I want to try it or not. I might give it a go just to show people what it's like, but whether I want to carry on like that. And also, of course, it depends, as I think I mentioned before, whether you can change. Like, if I can make this game, turn this game into hard mode, and then maybe turn it back if I want to, that would be an interesting experiment. But if I have to start a new game, that might make it less fun. I don't know. It means that I probably won't stay with it as long, because I've taken ages to build up the level of crap that I have here. So I'll give it a go by all means to show what it looks like, and you have fun of watching me get grumpy with it, all these bolts, and not knowing what's going on, which may or may not be amusing. It won't be that amusing for me, I don't think, but you know, happy days. Make some fun videos for all 8 of you to watch. Oh yeah. Right, so yeah, there we go. Those chocolatey bits off. The belts. Oh, there's a fuel filter up there, sitting in all the mud. Alright, what else we got here? Crankshaft pulley, and then the timing cover. Alright, so we're going fairly smoothly. I mean, it's not like a real rusty car where you might have to actually work hard to get some of these bolts to move, you know, spray them all with WD-40 and leave them for a while, and all those little tricks and things that mechanics have to know how to do. Because that's the only one I know of. WD-40, or whatever it's called, it's got a generic name, hasn't it? I'm not on the BBC, it doesn't matter if I accidentally advertise something. Other spray things are available. Anyway, so excuse me. Are we having fun yet? It's one of these engines with all these millions and millions of bits. I bet none of these are actually fixable either, so I have to replace all these. Hey ho. Okay. Well, it depends slightly as well on how much of this we can fix without breaking in the fixie bench. That's the technical term for it. The fixie bench. Oh yeah. Good. Alright, so that's the uppermost parts of the engine taken off. Let's just get off this other stuff that's attached to it. Oh, we can take the camshaft out now. What about the gearbox? Yeah, we should definitely take that off. To get to the drive shaft. Ah yes, there's the starter motor. Oh, it's a V8 one, so I have to get that out somewhere else. Alright, so it's time to put the car up. Up and away. It just looks a little bit weird, doesn't it, with this sort of rust. Lovely sheeny bits. I mean, not even like a hint of rust. I mean, the rust just goes up there and stops. So, you know, if you're going to treat this with anti-rust, I just spray it along these other bits too. Anyway, right. So, let's exhaust bits off whilst we can see them. Oh, get the crankshaft off. Drive shaft even. No, can't reach it. Go on, drive shaft. Don't want to play. Alright, well, stuff you then. Did I get the starter motor off? No. Let's do that now. Rusty bush. I'll take the wheels off, of course. Sloop, sloop. Do the sloop, sloop song. And there's the brakes. A wheel hub thing, and knuckle. Oh, I can't take the knuckle off yet, of course, with all this other stuff attached to it. remembering the order in which things go, or, you know, not, and having it go at me every now and again. Oh, the old days. Reminds me of the Windows 98 error noise, which was like a glass breaking. Oh, that was annoying. Oh dear. Still. Windows 98, good grief, that's almost 20 years ago. Of course, Windows 95 is 21 years ago. Yeah, I think it's like an ad. Yeah, terrific. Fun for all the family. Numbers. And so now we're at Windows 10, of course. So finally got to a decent version. Well, actually, I liked 7. To be fair, 7 wasn't too bad. Hell of a lot better than Vista. Anyway. Oh, still got arena tie rods on over there. Can I get that one off from here? No, not yet. Alright. There we go. Good, right, final bush to go off there. That can probably come off. Yeah. Oh, get that oil thing off. There we go. Tie rods, steering, sway bar, knuckle. That's all that done. Right, let's see if we can get this. I should have left the exhaust on, because then I could have pulled myself along the exhaust, so to speak. Never mind. Right, so there we are on chocolatey drive shaft. Sounds a little bit wrong, doesn't it? Chocolatey. Right, so that's the exhaust. Attack the rear suspension. It's relatively simple, the rear suspension. Oh, it's got these drum brakes on it, of course, which aren't much fun. But some of the rear suspension can be quite involved and have lots of bits and pieces, but this one's not too bad at all. Little rubber bushings. Come on, there we go. Show me your bushings. So mainly it's made of these leaf springs. So you've got these U-bolts tying on this leaf spring, base plate, and then the actual leaf spring itself. Fairly simplistic. Alright. Going well, fairly smoothly. Of course the strip down is always fairly smooth. It's more about the efficiency of how you do it, and there's not much to be done about that either. The rebuild is where you can lose lots more time, but I tend to just sort of blather at it. I'm not in a particular rush. There we go. On the bush. Take off that, and then that's all the rear end gone, all the exhaust and everything. Yeah, okay, so we can go back down and attack the gearbox. Let's get this off, and then we can deal with the main engine bulk, the actual block itself. Of course, we'll have to drain the oil out. There we go. So that's the clutch all removed. Right, let's get our oil drain friend. Doink, suck it onto our chest. Alright, so basically you want to get under here looking directly upwards until you're pretty much over the oil drain. Just double check, because some of them are different these days. It's been a while, I forget exactly what I'm doing. That's some decent looking oil. You kind of expect and a lot of it, you tiny expect a tiny little black splurge. That's usually what happens with these old crap looking cars. Right, so that means we can now take off the oil pan without getting covered in sludge, which is good. We're not into sludge, so now we want to find the little, what are they called again, bearing caps. Get these chaps off. I have to do this now, to be fair, because I'm going to have to put the engine up and down again anyway. So that's that, and then we have to yo-yo. So now we bring it down so we can take out the pistons. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought it crashed then. Something weird happened. Everything seems fine again. I'm still recording. I hope. It's that horrible fear of the capturing thing is not noticing if it stops capturing. Ugh. You sit there chatting away for half. Okay, and we're back. So yes, it did crash. Just managed to finish talking about the fact that it's bad when it crashed, and then it crashed. So I'd run out of space on my hard drive that accepts the capturing, so it had fallen apart, and my computer ground to a halt for a bit, even though it's not the system drive or anything. So anyway, hopefully now all is back to normal. Yep. What am I doing? Alright, so now we've taken off the pistons, we can remove the crankshaft, and then we bring it back down. Take out the engine block, and that's all of it. And then we can see how much we can repair and how much we can afford to replace, and then if we actually made any money. This is the bit where I wonder how much money we had at the start. Was it 19 grand? I think it must have been, so we spent 10 on the car. Yeah, so 19 grand, that's what we had. We hope to end up with more than 19 grand. Hey, that's a wheel required straight away. Awesome. This repairing is a bit annoying as well. It's supposed to be 10% chance of damaging, but it just definitely seems to be all those crunch noises are something irrevocably damaged. I don't need to get everything to 100% really, but and the last one dies as well. So we can see now how much got broken if we sell the junk. Well, can't see, but for instance there's quite a few bits there. Let's sell all the junk, that gets rid of all the broken bits. So some of the stuff we couldn't repair, so if we just get rid of all that anyway. So shift click sold. Okay. I'm sounding surprised, but I did know that. Shift click. So all these parts are going to need replacing. So we'll see what happens if we have to try and sell a half fixed up car, whether it's worth it. Interesting experiment. Well, faintly interesting. Hooray for the engine block being fit. It's always nice. It's a nice big block to get off your inventory, nice and fixed. Because it's quite an expensive chunk of metal. Okay, I don't have one of those. What was that? The power steering pump V8. Oh, that sounds expensive, doesn't it? So, steer. What have I written? Yeah, steer. That's what I wanted. Power steering pump V8. Oh, $160. Not too bad at all. Alright, there we go. Yeah, might as well just put up in the air straight away. Get on with the underneath. Look at that reflection. Right, so can you fix a crankshaft? Or have I? Yes, I have. Awesome, that's good. So, then we've got some... all the crankshaft bearing caps died. Or maybe you can't fix them. I think you can fix them. Oh, I don't know. Oh well. Oh, don't have one of them either. That's probably expensive. Front suspension cross member short. I don't think there's many short things in here, so let's try short. There we go. $4. I didn't even look at what it was called, but you know, it's the only thing with short in the mem. Oh, wow. Steering rack. Let's look for a good rack. Oh, $800. Wow. It's quite expensive. I guess steering's relatively important in cars, isn't it? Not anything else. just cars. Tie. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, you don't need to steer anything else, do you? No, of course not. Front steering knuckle. Yeah, we've got those. That's good. What about our little hubs? Got one of them. Alright, and of course we'll need some bush. Need some nice fresh bush. So that's 2, and I can't remember if there's small bushes on the leaf springs, so I'll just buy the 4 normal sized bushes for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pop them in. Pop in your bush. There we go. Alright, and we'll need 2 of those wishbone things. Make a wish. 1, 2. And they'll each require springs and caps. I don't think you can fix them, so spring. 2 front springs. And what about these? No, I need the caps too. Front shockers, all the caps. 2 of those. Oh, I need those crankshaft bearing caps as well, don't I? Whoops. Crankshaft bearing caps. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, I believe. Stick them in whilst we're under here. It's going to be 3, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, no, I spent $40 more than I needed to. Oh no! Wow, look at that big yellow and black reflection. I wonder what that's reflecting. Something yellow and black, you'd think. Foolishness. Right, so that's the upper suspension arm. So that's the suspension on this side. Oh, we need that front sway bar, don't we? Sway low. Sweet chariot. There we go, sway bar. Okay, so yeah, that's this side, I think. Oh no, we've got this sway bar link, of course, which we couldn't put in before because we didn't have a sway bar. So it's sway bar link B. So puppies. Alright, yep, good. Let's go over to the side. Stick in our bush. Screw in the bush. Get rested for that shit. Right. Steering knuckle. No, we don't have another hub, do we? So we need a front wheel hub. Hub. Front wheel hub. Ah, now was there a wheel hub in the middle of that? I've forgotten. It's one of the few things that's really hard to see. Yeah, wheel hub cap. So we need 2 of them too. 2 of those also. Suspension arm. Good. It's looking good. So we need to put the the shock absorber. That'd be handy. Yeah. Having none would be a nightmare. Having one on one side and none on the other would probably be worse, if anything, than just none at all. I don't know. I wouldn't want to drive a car without shocks because I'm sure it would be fairly a bone-crushing experience. Yes. Right, so that's the front suspension. We haven't got the brakes on yet, but they'll all have to be bought, so we'll leave that for now. Right. Sort out the gearbox. So we need a fly wheel. And got a clutch plate? No. Clutch plate, $90. Not too bad. And then the pressure plate. No, don't have that. I don't think it's those. Clutch release bearings. So I'll just buy one of those. A little puppy in the middle. Yeah. And then the box itself. Ah, that got fixed. Nice. Again, that's a bit of an expensive chunk of metal, so it's good to have fixed. Stick the starter motor on if we've got it. Yeah, otherwise I'll forget. Can't put the drive shaft on yet because we need the rear drive axle-y bits to connect it to. What else can we do here? We need to put the pistons in. Got a fuel filter? No, can't do that here anyway. We could do the exhaust. So, front exhaust pipe V8 UV. They never get fixed either, you have to buy them new. Front V8. That's right, I'm having a good torquey abilities today. It's quite useful. So, 2 times middle muff. Rear muff. I've gone past the middle muffs. I'm having a struggle. There we go. 1, 2. Doesn't look like a muffler there. That picture makes it look less muffly. So then a rear muffler V8 UV. Those? I don't know. There we go. And then we can pull ourselves down the rear end. That shouldn't be funny. Fuel tank. Let's buy a tank. Alright. And does that have a fuel pump ready to go? No. So fuel pump. Fuel. Okay, now we didn't have that, it's a shame. That's probably a bit of a chunk. Leaf spring, rear drive axle. So, drive axle. Leaf spring, rear drive axle, $600. It's not ridiculous, I guess. And then, oh, none of those. Rear axle knuckle housing B. Knuckle housing, rear axle, knuckle housing B. Now, do we have the axle itself? Got one of those. Not much, this rear suspension setup. Well, this leaf spring, got one of those. Leaf spring plate, one of those. How about the U-bolts? Hey, enough for a whole one. So sort of leave those 2. Anyway, right, so we need, yeah, they are small rubber bushings and rear shock absorbers B. So, shock, Rear shock absorber B, 2 of those. We need bush, 2, 3, 4 of those. We need a leaf spring, plate, 2 U-bolts and a spring. Oh, wow, felt great to remember all that at once. How exciting. So no springs required, that's nice. I can put the drive shaft on, we don't have one. Let's buy the drive shaft in the gearbox area. Useful to know. And screw it on at the front, or bolt it on. It's a more accurate description of what I'm doing. Oh, ish. Right, back down the end, please. There we go. And then we can put on this side, knuckle housing. Oh yeah, we didn't buy the solid rear drive axle. Solid as a rock. It's from the 80s. And all this bump. Yeah. Come on, there we go, little U-bolts. On you pop. And don't forget your little bush. Little bit of bush. Leafy bush. Oh, can't reach that. There we go, tiny leaf bush. Spin round. Alright, so that's the rear suspension complete. And we've got the brakes to do front and back, and bits to pop into the engine. Let's get on with the rest of the engine stuff. We've got half of our fixie money left. We'll start with about 8 or 9. Right, so now I'm going to need 8 pistons, because they don't get fixed. 8 pistons avec le conrod. Not that there's any without. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to need those rod things. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 of them. I need some rocker arms as well, I believe. Do that in a minute. Make sure I definitely need 16 of those as well. Don't want to buy far too many. Just too many is okay, but not far too many. You know. Right, engine heads. Yeah, we've got one of those at least, unless they're separate for each side, which sometimes they are. I didn't look at the name long enough to see if it had a differentiator. No, so we need engine head V8 Earth. So head. All kids love head. Engine head V8 O. There we go. Bolt that puppy in. Oh, bolts different lengths, or I just foreshortened because I'm at a funny angle. It's a bit odd, isn't it? A little bit odd. E. Intake manifold for 1 carb. That's good dieting, that is. Just 1 carb. And then the carb, 4-barrel carb. So carb, 4-barrel carb. There we go. Lovely. Bolt that puppy in. And then the air filter on top. Right, that didn't work. So round air filter base 1 carb. So that should be here as well. Round air filter base 1 carb. And then that air filter itself. And then the lid. I didn't have that either. Just made out of rust, this car, wasn't it? There we go. Bolt that on. So that's the top of the engine. Sort of done. I haven't finished off the fiddly bits. So let's do that now. So yeah, millions of valve rods. It's easier if I was looking at it directly in the middle, because then your cursor doesn't have to move as much. So yeah, and then we need 8 per side of rocker arms. Rocker arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Do, count with me. Okay, so these are fun to put in. Oop. Alright, and then we've got the other side, so we've got push rods a ho. Oops, missed. Push rods a go-go. arms. Oops, doing it too fast. Gonna wait for the highlight to come on, otherwise it doesn't activate and click. Hello? Don't know what I was doing wrong there, was I just missing it? Oh, because right in the centre of it you can be missing it. Oh, it's like the brakes where I always, when I'm trying to remove the caliper, I'm clicking on the bit where the caliper is sort of not there and you can see the brake pad underneath. I do that all the time. So there you go, do that with the rocker arms as well apparently. Engine head cover B, so that means there's one for each side. See, it reflects yellow and black. Yeah, interesting. Oh, I've got sparkies to do, yeah, I haven't done that yet. So, no, I've got this side. So this is engine head cover A, V8 OV. Cover, engine head cover V8 OV. Was it A? Oh god. It was. It's worth not buying the wrong one. It's not a huge amount of money, $120. Probably get, what, half back for selling things? I don't know, I've not really looked very closely. Obviously get something back, but you don't want to waste the money. So we need 8 sparkle plugs. Can't think of spark plugs without thinking of Mr. Sparkle, if you watch The Simpsons. Or Mr. Fishbulb. Mr. Sparkle. Yeah, you probably have to do that. It's good though. There we go. Ignore the yellow and black. Ignore the yellow and black. By saying it repeatedly, you are ignoring it. Exhaust manifold. Nope. So, exhaust manifold V8 is. I assume we're going to need 2 of those, but I say I assume. I'm not going to assume that I need 2 of those. I presume, but I'm not going to assume. So let's make sure it's the same. It didn't have any differentiation, so no, it is. So that's the exhaust system finished as well, which is nice. Oh, we've just about run out of cash. God, I only just noticed that, look. Wow, we had $4 just now, so all those valve rods and stuff must have been quite expensive. So this is the nitty gritty, this is where we are. So if I try to sell the car now at this state, I wonder what we get. Let's have a look. 33 grand. Now that's not bad considering we started with 19. It's almost double our money and I haven't even finished it. Now it's a shame not to finish it, because obviously you get a bonus for finishing it, but to be honest, we've kind of achieved the goal of earning money. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and sell it. 33 grand, yes please. Alright, that's pretty good, and we've got a bunch of stuff in our inventory that I didn't get to put back on, like wheels. That probably improved the sale value. Class. Absolute class. Okay, well, I guess it's all 100%. I could hang on to that, and maybe I'll go out and buy another Del Rey Custom and sell that, because I should be able to do it up properly next time. 30 odd grand. Good, so we're going to earn some more money next time, so come back then to watch me do that same all over again, and we'll have fun doing it, won't we? Yes, we will.